We're the baby specialists. Between the two of us, we have decades of experience. And through this video, we hope to inspire you as well as help you with your baby, well, I wouldn't say problems, but your baby experience. Because one thing we'd like to talk about, number one, breastfeeding.
Oh, yes, because there's just lots of factors that go into whether you breastfeed or not and how it goes.
And who wants you to breastfeed, who don't want you to breastfeed.
If you can breastfeed, if it's not working for you.
Is it your husband or your mama breastfed or your best friend did it? But it might not be working for you.
And we also want the space to be comfortable for moms to be able to say, hey, this is working for me or it's not working for me, because nobody should make the decision for a mom, whether it's right for her or not, because it's her body and she has to feel comfortable and it has to be working right. And in reality, it'll work well for the baby if it's working right for the mom.
And remember, those are your boobs, your breasts. You're the one that has to put all that time in it. Nobody else. Of course, yes, you can pump and allow mother-in-law or mother or father or whoever's in your house to give a bottle, but ultimately, it's you. And we know how that works. And we want you to enjoy the experience. We're huge supporters of breastfeeding, huge supporters.
Yet at the same time, if we have a mom come to us, we've done some jobs where we work together with the moms and some where we work separate. But in any time when a mother comes to us and says, hey, it's not working for me, we back the mom up 100%.
Totally.
And we help transition, if there needs to be, from breast milk to bottle feeding with formula, making sure we find the right formula for the baby. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, the baby needs to be nourished and the mom needs to be comfortable.
For it to work. For a baby to thrive and grow and be a happy baby, mom has to be happy first. Remember, you count first, then your baby, not the baby before you. You are first before that baby.
It's like when you're on the airplane, you got to put the oxygen mask on yourself even before you put it on your child, because if you don't take care of yourself first, you might not be okay to take care of somebody else.
Exactly. So always remember to put yourself first. And along with that, there's so many techniques and suggestions that we have for breastfeeding. We would like you to listen to our suggestions. Say when you come home from the hospital, we believe in scheduling the breastfeeding.
It works wonders. It's amazing.
Not under 2 hours. Don't feed a baby under 2 hours.
And preferably 3.
Yes. But, again, you have to take into consideration maybe your baby was small, like 5 pounds, 5.5 pounds. Then that would be taken, you have to take that in consideration. So they may get hungry faster. But if you have a 8-pounder or a 9-pounder, they can make it 3 hours.
Easily.
And
also there are techniques to make sure that, the baby is getting enough on one side. You want to get proper burps before you go on to the other side, and just really making sure that when you're doing the schedule that you're making sure the baby's getting enough, and when the baby is well satiated, the baby can go longer and sleep in between.
Yes, and as well as timing that breastfeed. You don't want to leave the baby on one side for 30 minutes. They're going to be exhausted. And then you want, well, they won't eat. Well, naturally, they've been on one side for 30 minutes. Time it 10 minutes, 10 minutes. And then they'll eat. Tickle their feet, change their diaper, take a little wet cloth, wet their face. But you want them to do what we call a full feeding.
You have to teach it to them.
Yes.
So it takes, the first, week, 2 weeks, you're getting into the routine. But it is amazing how when you stick with a schedule, how well it really works for everybody.
Yeah, it'll give you time to take a shower. If you have another child, it'll give you time with your child because you know at 8 o'clock in the morning I'll feed them. Then between 10 to 11 I'll feed them again. So babies like schedules. Babies don't like feeding on demand.
There's a problem, as we know, with feeding on demand. Is so many times people are like, oh, I'm feeding on demand, and they're feeding the baby every hour and a half. But what they're not realizing is when the baby's crying and fussing, it's not hunger, it's reflux. And so continually feeding the baby over and over too soon can perpetuate more gas and more reflux, and then it just turns into a nightmare for the mom and the baby. And so, a baby doesn't know that, it's got reflux, so it can't tell you that. So you think, oh, it's crying, it must be hungry. So this is really huge because it happens all the time. And people don't know. Why would they know?
Why would they? Imagine if somebody fed you every hour and a half. Wouldn't you be miserable?
I'd probably, but...
Yeah, you would. I wouldn't. You would be miserable. So think about your baby like you.
Yeah.
Just because they're fussing, you may need to change their position. You may need to pick them up out of their bassinet, burp them, put
they
them
may be
back.
Overtired. There's so many other reasons.
It's not always food.
Why they're crying. And usually if it's only been an hour and a half, unless they did just like a snack, and that's why we say you really got to make sure you work on getting them to get a full feed, both breasts, with a little break in between for burping. Because once you do that, it's totally amazing. Yeah. We do it every single time. Hundreds of babies.
Hundreds.
We never do it differently. Every time. And it works every time.
And every client says, thank you for teaching me how to schedule my baby. Especially when they did it I wouldn't say wrong way. They just did it their way the first time.
But they didn't know any better.
They didn't know any better. And then they hire us for the second baby. Oh, it's like dating.
Yeah, and they're so grateful. And they get it because they're able to have just more structure to their own time and day and get more things done, get a break, and get the baby calmer. So it's really a good thing. But at the same time, like we said, there's also bottle feeding for some families. Babies need to, bottle feeding and breastfeeding can also work together.
Like a supplement.
And also we do encourage moms to do some pumping. So the fathers can also take a shot at the feeds and, help out. And it winds up being wonderful for both the mom and the dad and the baby because they get to bond, she gets a break. And it's just better all the way around. So even if you are exclusively breastfeeding, we do encourage getting that bottle. And we introduce it right away. We've never had issues with that. They'll tell you not to do it. But if you do it the right way, the baby will learn both. And it's wonderful. But then again, now getting back to some families, depending on the circumstances, may need to use strictly formula. And, that's okay
not
too.
A bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. We've had plenty of our families that were in that situation.
Yes.
And they did perfectly
adoption, surrogacy, maybe just a mother can't breastfeed.
Exactly. And getting back to that again, so one of the main things we want to focus on is, we want, moms to be, or new moms to understand, if you're sitting inside saying, this is not working for me, this is not feeling good, and everybody's pressuring me, that's not okay. It has to work for you. You have to be comfortable. And if it's not okay for you and it's not working for you, it needs to be safe for you to say that.
Remember, you're number one in that house.
Right.
If you're not happy, no one in that house is going to be happy.
So we want to encourage you
Our goal is to keep you happy.
Yes, and find your
voice. Your
life
easier. Yes, you got to have a voice.
And we would love it if, anybody who's watching us today, feel free to comment below. Let us know what your thoughts and your feelings and your experiences are. Are you planning on breastfeeding? Have you breastfed? Was it a good experience for you? Are you bottle feeding? What's working for you? The only thing we ask is that, keep it very kind, because you may have an opinion that makes sense for you, that, maybe that is the opposite of what somebody else is doing, but that was right for them.
Right.
Okay, but we would love to, see you comment down below and share your thoughts and comments and experiences, and hopefully encourage somebody else, by sharing what you have to say and what you went through.
And each week we will drop a new video talking about a different subject. So hopefully you'll share this video with your friends and family, and become to enjoy us as we put out new videos. And thank you for watching and listening.
Yes, thank you so much. We've enjoyed being here today.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.